Swinburne Professional Staff Network Podcast, the podcast professionals with Kristy and Ash, made by professional staff for all Swinburne staff. Well, today we are bringing you a very special episode, and it's an unplanned episode because today we are celebrating my partner in pod, Ash Carden. For those who don't know, Ash, after 14 years, is leaving Swinburne and heading into a brand new role. So this episode is all about her. And before I bang on too much longer, or before Ash raids a stationery cupboard for one last time, let me introduce to the mic a very special person, the wonderful, the very kind, and the best boss ever, Ash Carden. Hello.
Thank you.
How you
Dazzling
going?
introduction as always.
Yeah, absolutely. So deserved. How are you, Ash? And how are you feeling? You've had a really big week.
It has been a massive week. It's been an amazing week, a very humbling week. How am I feeling? Yes, is the answer. I think.
Yeah.
There's, as you are departing an organisation that you've been worn so many different hats and had the fortune to have so many amazing experiences, to leave that organisation, have every feeling that exists. So I realised, and the day of where we gathered together and had just an amazing morning tea, I had realised that how I'm feeling, the answer is yes.
Yes, it's a good decision. Yes, I've had a great time. Yes, it was lovely to see all those people.
Yes, I'm having every feeling mostly. Every feeling. If there's a feeling, I'm probably having it.
Because it's been a couple of weeks since you've resigned, and sharing the details with, all of your work colleagues across the two schools that you work. It's a really weird time, isn't it? Kind of like saying farewell and, getting all your work done before you finish up. Because you've actually finished up, but now you're on annual leave for a bit. Is that right?
I am. I'm on some annual leave.
Yep.
So the communicating it was even very bizarre. We had to map that out. Bizarre is the wrong word. But Janie and I mapped out how we were going to communicate because, as I said, I've been lucky enough in those 14 years to wear different hats. So there's a lot of audiences and a lot of colleagues and friends and people that are very dear to me in work and in life. And to get the communications right and fair and respecting all of those audiences and all the people I currently work with across Swinburne that also equally, even if I have not worked with them for 14 years and we aren't in each other's lives, they're still in my working life, and everyone still has that right of respect as amazing colleagues to know when that's happening and that it's happening, because it will affect some current work. So because of all those different audiences, we had to plan the communications quite a bit, and there was also a lot of those communications, a lot of people I work with that I really wanted to tell the news directly in person with. So that was its own challenge, and we got through most of that in a space of 2-3 days. And then also that sort of anyone who I was not going to physically cross paths with, made sure that they knew in those 2-3 days. And that's both of our school exec teams. So that alone is, we've got 8 departments, 4 ADEs, our 2 deans, our 4 centre directors, and 3 group leaders. But that alone is 18 people just in the schools I support. And that's in the leadership groups. It's not the people in the schools that I've worked with previously that I wanted to let know. And it's also the very first round has to be my team. So that we've already got a list of 30 face-to-face conversations that have to happen really quickly and without them timed in a way. Obviously some people are going to have a conversation first versus fifth in a list, but ensuring that those were all timed. And then the tier of people we work with across in research services and research finance and the AOU and finance and all sorts of places, that then becomes 50 people that you want to have a conversation with really, really fast. So that was its own challenge, and exacerbated by the speed of the recruitment for the position I'm going into. So
okay, happened really quick. That happened
that
quickly.
happened. It happened so quickly, but the two people that knew very first and before that was happening, obviously, was my boss, Janie, my director, and the three people, sorry, and two amazing, phenomenal leaders and colleagues that were also my referees.
Great.
Also new.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's down to 47 odd people. But so some of those really important first notifications went out as messages. But we got through that, and communicating, it's a mammoth effort.
It's a big job, and you don't realise how many people that you're across and you have connected to across such a big organisation, like working at Swinburne, plus the amount of time that you've been here.
And there was a public holiday in there, and so a lot of people had a long weekend as well.
Yeah, right.
So Janie knew with five officially, I gave 5 weeks notice. Janie did know before that, but even having that lead time, it's still it goes in a blink.
It does, doesn't it? It's just unbelievable. So can you tell us about your new role, Ash? Are you nervous? Are you shit scared? Are you excited?
Shit scared.
Where are you going, and what's your new role?
It is. So it's always nervous starting a new job, as anyone can attest to. And I have started new roles at Swinburne, sometimes in different areas of Swinburne, but that is very different to moving to a whole other organisation. So I'm heading off to Melbourne. I'll be in the School of Global Health and Population. And I am doing the centre manager role for the Centre for Health Policy.
Right.
So, and there is a small team in there. It is a fairly large centre in terms of their external income and their staffing profile.
Yep.
And the responsibilities are very, very similar to my current role at Swinburne. Actually, how I ended up even applying for the job is I had a very, very well-trusted, very missed colleague. I think we can all say across Swinburne, we have colleagues across the whole sector that we love and miss because we all do move around quite a bit.
Yeah.
And one of my friends at Melbourne had sent me this job, and it was the PD was almost identical to my current PD.
Wow.
And the remit and how the job ad described the next challenges and what they were looking for that centre and the overall responsibilities for the role, I said that would be amazing to be a part of. And that job was closing that day.
Oof.
So I had seen it in the morning as I was getting ready. And I said, okay, I'm going to think on that. And then I put it out of my mind, went to work. And then I had thought about it a bit during the day, but then, of course, I picked my kidlet up from school, and we did our afternoon, evening routine and play and readers and dinner and things. And then as my son went to bed, I looked at the job ad again, looked at the PD again, and said, no, I need to do this. So and it was due at 11:55. That was ambitious. There was.
So what are we talking at? 7:30, 8 o'clock at night here?
Yeah, or 7 o'clock. Started at 7 o'clock, and I think it was one that did have the key selection. You needed to do the document answer, which they can be painful. They're tough. They're super tough. Depending on what sort of role you're recruiting for some roles, having someone that can work through a key selection, for example, and state it in the way it needs to be stated and demonstrate examples relevant to what the position's targeting. So there are certain roles that is an absolute invaluable recruitment tool, and having it versus not having it is the difference between a strong pool of really highly likely positive investments in ongoing positions
Yep.
to a very uncertain pool.
Yep.
Not for every position, but if that's something, if anyone ever wanted to know for hiring managers, if there is a role that has been challenging to get the right fit because of how someone thinks, that's where key selection criteria can really support a recruitment process.
Mm.
So, and this one had about 8.
Yeah, right. And they're time consuming to complete and
so
think
time
through.
consuming.
There is a cheat sheet online somewhere that I think I might have used for one of my jobs.
Oh, yeah, they're everywhere. They're even on hopefully the Swinburne page, and definitely even on the Melbourne page. If it's an application that asks you to answer key selection in a document, the next link is to here's how to answer key selection criteria.
Oh, okay, right.
So
well, it's been a while since I've applied for a job.
Yeah, you feel good after you've written them if it's gotten you to an interview, but apart from that, they are painful to write. And if I was writing that many, I would like to write one a day in the lead up to something, because each one can take, it can easily take 2 hours for one answer. And so that was a challenge, to say the least.
So you got it in before 11:55?
I didn't.
You didn't?
I was
What
madly
happened?
scrambling and madly writing, and 11:55 was coming, and I'm like, I'm exhausted by this point.
Yeah.
I have just it's already such a spur of the moment decision because of just how well they stated like what the next steps, where the centre was heading, what the direction was so exciting. And I didn't have any time, thankfully, to think about leaving so many people that I love, that I was like, I've come this far. So by nearly midnight, I had probably written 4.5.
Okay. So you still had a way to go.
Okay, I'm definitely not getting this in by deadline, but I have come this far.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep writing.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep writing and submit it when I can, and pray that they accept after deadline. And so I did. I don't think the every key selection was a brilliant answer, as if I had put several weeks, but maybe that helped. Bob has joined the recording. Hi, Bobby.
Yeah, he's a good boy. Beautiful.
And I think, though, the good thing about doing that is at least each answer was the thing that was most front of mind and very, very authentically written.
Sorry, I'm just laughing because Bob's
like
close
nuzzling
to the camera there. Well, you obviously nailed it, Ash. So, and
and I sent it at 2:30 in the morning saying, I'm really sorry, I only saw this today. Please include me. I said it in better words than that. Yeah. And that is, I had actually also, when I was just doing the cover letter, which is usually the last thing to edit.
Yeah.
I actually put in that the similarities in the role and the that I applied seeing both the similarities and the upcoming challenges, and how much, if they're willing to accept past deadline, that I'd really appreciate them reviewing the application at all.
Good.
So, and and they're Melbourne's people and culture included in the pool, but I had put that in the covering letter as my premise of my application as well, and the pool accepted it and interviewed that week.
Wow,
I think it was. I think it was so fast. Or if maybe it closed on a Sunday and I was interviewing by Friday. Don't quote me on Friday was definitely the interview day. Which day the job closed? It could have even been the Monday or Tuesday. Oh no, it was a school day, so it must have been Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah, right. So the next minute you're interviewing, you've got a new job, and then you're thinking, shit, oh my God.
Absolutely. Oh. Well, no, 2 interviews. Two interviews.
Yeah,
so at interview, they advised we do have a 2 interview process because Bob's just walking across the screen, everyone, while we're recording. It's very Bob. And I promise he has had breakfast.
Do you know you can get Crocs for cats?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to send you this link. It's on Instagram. It's been absolutely killing me. It's hilarious.
Crocs for cats. We should post that with the podcast as well.
Yeah. I've been annoying Margaret Gray with all these funny things.
That's amazing. So they advised
you had your second interview.
Well, they called me same day. So the Friday interview was the morning.
Yep.
And they said, we are hoping to do second interviews as Bob walks across the screen again. Bob's bum is just blanking Kristy right now on my screen, everyone.
Chocolate starfish.
And and they said they hope to contact me the following week, because this is a Friday, by I think at about 12:30 on the Friday. They called and set up that second interview for the Tuesday so I could meet the rest of the core centre team and a few staff, and to see and to sort of for them to ask more questions or me to ask more questions. And I did have some questions, but it was just the conversation really, really flowed, which I imagine, not I imagine is a good sign. Evidently it was a good sign, because then the following afternoon, I think, or maybe following afternoon or one additional day, and I had a job offer. And then it was, oh my gosh, this is happening. This is a real thing. Because up until that point, it wasn't even until I was obviously nervous and humbled to get even an interview. And my gosh, did I feel like I was fumbling in that interview. It has been such a long time since I've done a job interview.
Yeah, well done.
And then, apparently something was well done, but
it was, so
they weren't looking for smoothness, thankfully. That's what I can say. Smooth was not part of this criteria. And so after that first meeting is when I really started to get excited as well, which is also evidently a good sign.
It is. And then, congratulations to you, Ash, because it's a really hard thing, and it's also a brave thing to do when you are comfortable in your own role, and to, put yourself out there to go and get, put yourself out there to a brand new role. It's incredibly
I think it makes it easier, though, to have such awesome colleagues, to have to work for such an intelligent, inspirational, driven leader like Janie, who personifies empowerment and transparency and openness and helping people grow and getting the best for the organisation, and that real focus to then apply for a job. So even though I was nervous, the best time to apply for a job is because you want that job, even though you have so many amazing things in your current job. There's less riding on it in a way.
And then one of the worst things you can do is leave out of spite as well. It's like, oh, well, screw you, I'm going to go for this job because my job's giving me the shits or whatever.
Absolutely.
And I know I've been in that position before and it didn't work out.
People get in that position, and it's like that pressure to accept any job, whether it's the fit that is going to help you
grow
or just serve you, and you can do the job justice as well. Moving into a new job when you're coming from negativity in yourself, absolutely, it's a necessity. And if people are in a very negative space with their jobs, I still absolutely encourage finding a different path for yourself, 100%, because life is too short for that. I'm just lucky that and it's hard, and you do need to move out, because even if you move out and then move again, you need something to get yourself out of that negativity.
It can become all consuming, and
it can. Mostly it just makes interviews harder. So you've been here for 14 years, Ash. I've got a couple of serious questions here before we get on to some other funny ones, but just any funny old highlights that you've had at Swinburne, or something you'd like to share with us, or and any advice for somebody who might be transitioning into your role, because you actually are my boss. I don't know who's going to be my new boss. Do you want to do my job?
No.
Do it. You can do it.
Nah, no thanks. So yeah, got give us some reflections on your time at Swinburne, and also any advice for somebody who's coming into your new role.
I, of course, have blanked on funny moments, but there is a lot of funny moments. There is. And I'm just going to skate over them because I don't have any front of mind. Advice on someone coming into my role, that it's not my role. It's their role. It's whoever's role it becomes. There are things that I can do well, and some of those things have served this role, served Swinburne, served my schools really well. There are some things that could also be done better by someone else. And the important thing of trusting yourself and asking questions and learning and being open and coming back to, it's not my role, it's a role. And someone going into that should feel free to not do what I did.
Yeah.
Unless they want to do what I did, unless it suits the need of the role at that time, and it's serving the organisation and the role.
Yeah, I really like that. Yeah, it's a really nice way to put it, Ash. And whoever steps into your role, they will make it their own. Probably not as good as, but I'll keep you posted.
The thing is, I think
that's a joke. I'm only joking, everybody. Please don't come at me. But
no, I reckon it's just
it's me being hilarious.
You are hilarious.
Thank you.
I reckon they'd do it better. It's just we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm only just finishing up. Yeah, absolutely. It's evolving.
You're on holidays now, aren't you?
I'm on holidays now.
When do you start your new job?
End of the month.
Great. Oh, you've got a nice break.
I do.
Let's talk about your farewell morning tea. It was such a wonderful celebration of Ash.
Gosh.
There were so many people there. It was gorgeous speeches by Mary, Janie, Gaby, Irene.
It was so special.
A speech, and I don't know what happened to my voice. My words got stuck. I sounded like a teenage boy that was going through some sort of voice changing.
My dog sounds like a teenage boy when he barks.
It was such a beautiful morning tea, Ash, and you must have been thrilled by all the lovely people that were there.
I was floored. The beautiful, beautiful sentiment in the room and the amazing things everyone said was really, it was so heartwarming. It was so phenomenal that people who I'd worked with, including one of my longest mentors and friends from Swinburne, Mary Dunkley, who was retired last year.
I think it was last year.
Last year.
Yeah.
She was able to make it in, which was really amazingly special. And then so many people came forward to speak with just thank yous. Bob, again, making this beautiful moment really all about him and his
so
posterior that he just waved in the camera at Kristy's face.
Again.
Thank you, Bob, for doing that for us.
Yeah.
The thank yous in the room, and it was not only so special to be such a phenomenal part of so many people's journeys in a way that at Swinburne in life, in a way that I could never have imagined. And it was so amazing that those were the things that I love from day one to today about working at Swinburne, and the impact that Mary and my other mentors have had on my life. To know that is shared across was so humbling.
It was, wasn't it?
And so really fulfilling.
Lovely. Yeah.
And the amount of people from different areas of the university highlighting the one Swinburne approach. And it was so fantastic and heartwarming, and people from those different areas and all saying representing their whole area and that one Swinburne approach, and the fact that they have such a positive impact from my one Swinburne approach, which is something that is really important to me. But knowing how well that has worked for across how many spaces was almost as humbling as being able to have that same impact on people's lives that my colleagues at Swinburne have had on my life.
Good.
In fact, those speeches took half of my speech, but it was probably for the best because the speech I wrote was going to be too long.
Then you didn't have to say it, so because it's always hard to speak when you get emotional, but
absolutely. But I could have ended up having a 1 hour farewell speech. It was a risk.
But
so
it was a long morning tea. Yeah, it was good. Everyone hung around. It was a testament to you, Ash, that nobody wanted to leave.
Testament to working here. Testament to everyone. I can't not deflect. I will never not deflect these comments.
Yeah.
Not a skill I have yet. Maybe I'll put it on my new YPD.
Yeah, maybe. So the Swinburne Professional Staff Network podcast is going to continue with a new co-host.
Yes, it is.
Nicola Howard. She's the SPSN chair. So Ash, do you have any advice for her or warnings that she should be made aware of?
Don't hold back.
Don't hold back. Okay.
Don't hold back. Be your whole self. Go with the flow the new flow that you and Nicola will have together, and let it ride the way it needs to be.
Yeah.
Things that are a 3 Sigma level podcast that can be a different and equally 3 Sigma level podcast, and not going the other way on the curve, by the way.
No way.
Both in the positive.
That's it.
For the record, anyone who is quoting, cringing at my statistical measure jokes.
I love your stats. It's a Matthew Bales reference there, hard reference. So as Mary Dunkley said the other day, we're proud to be sending a Swinburne staffer to the University of Melbourne, one of the best, and you'll nail your new job. And there are so many wonderful ex-Swinburne colleagues there to welcome you with open arms. I can rattle off half a dozen just instantly.
The ones that send me the job.
Yeah, thank you. But on a personal note, I'd like to say...
On a personal note, Kristy and I would like to say that it has been a blast. You have been and are a phenomenal person to work with.
It's not about you. It's about...
Well, you lost your marble.
All right. So on a personal note, I'd like to say thank you, Ash, for being a wonderful mentor, supportive manager, work colleague, podcast co-host, and allowing me to be creative. And always there for me when I find the random chin hair. But yeah, so thank you, Ash. God, stop crying, you blubbering mess.
It's hard not to. What do we do?
But you're not. You've just had your eyelashes permed.
I've just had my eyelashes permed, and so I'm not, because the other thing that I've done between not even submitting like the resignation, but having all these conversations, is I have just been exercising my emotional repression muscles like you wouldn't believe. I am saving all this up to read the farewells, and I will have a couple of days of ugly crying booked in.
Okay, all right.
That's a real thing. I'm gonna probably jump into some Tay-Tay.
Oh my God, some tortured card reading.
Poets, tortured card reading. Tay-Tay, Adele, Joni Mitchell, and since we're there, that will be what I listen to. Yes, because in case some Tay-Tay and Adele breakup songs weren't there,
oh my God,
I'm just gonna deep dive with the Joni and the Carpenters. And maybe it'll be a 4-day ugly cry.
All right. Well,
that is when my emotions will come out.
Your 4-day cry. Make sure you got lots of tissues. All right, Ash. So, in keeping with tradition, before we hit end, don't disappoint our audience. Can you give us a score out of 10? Sigma level score, please, for the final podcast.
All of them.
All of them.
Yep. Infinity Sigma.
Infinity. All right.
Oh gosh, I think anyone who understands those things is cringing right now if they're listening, but that's
Matthew
okay.
Bales, I'm sure he's listening. So, all right, Ash, it's been great. Have a great rest of the day today and your annual leave, and we will hopefully catch up with you somewhere down the track. And
3 months in, review podcast.
Okay, there we go. We'll tap back in then.
Yes.
All right, that's all for us for now. Thanks so much, Ash. We'll miss you and see you soon.
Stay awesome.